Alrighty.
Flight routine activated. I'm with you. I'm taking care of you. Ability increased.
Yeah, that's a GA first beam target. Unfortunate.
Your support has arrived.
Gotta make sure you disconnect the beam before you go for stuff like that.
Let's get you back in the fight. But where does it hurt? I'm taking care of you. Not good.
Not a whole lot to talk about. I will say you're consistently putting a wall between you and the Zen. Like this is like the second time the Zen's like been pressured by the ball when like you're on this side of the card or this side of the wall or something, right? So just like try to spend more time vertical so that we can make sure that like try to get above the echo because A will keep you safer because if you look at their DPS they actually have nothing that can threaten you when you're in the air, so you don't really want to play like in between spots. You just kind of want to play above, right? Use your echo to get vertical, and once you're vertical then you can very easily like if someone needs trouble you can just fly down to them, right? And it saves a lot of effort, and you don't need to like fly very far. Again, you don't want to like fly into him and to your teammates and get like AoE together, right? So you just like fly down a bit, just enough to connect the beam, right? And then you stop and you hover, and then as you're healing, right, you either look around to like find your echo again and reset the situation, right? Or you drop, play corners, and then do the usual mercy stuff until you can find your echo. Until your Zen's fine, you can find your echo and stuff like that, right? Or your Zen dies and you have to find your echo. But that's generally what you're aiming for, because like being vertical will just keep you safe against everything here.
Let me get you patched up.
Oh, it was load. Okay.
It's been down. Damage amplified. Flight routine activated.
Yeah, it looks like you're not actually trying to slingshot past your echo, right? You're sort of just like flying to your echo and then like letting that dictate your positioning when you can just like slingshot past your echo, get extra vertical, right? And then just like very slowly slide on this ramp or something, right? There's a lot of ways you can do it, but you're just consistently like not trying to get above your echo. You're just kind of trying to get to your echo. That's what it feels like at least.
Damage boost engaged. Damage systems increased.
This is probably a reasonable Valk right here. Yeah, you got a Valk earlier than that. So as soon as like the enemy team is committed, right? That's a reasonable time to Valk. So right here, the hack, right? You see the ball, right? Time to Valk, right? Because their dive is in, right? Their dive's in. You gotta keep the team alive, right? And like your AOE plus like the more free movement and like more likely to like get the more likely to be able to heal people, right? Like the fight's on, right? It's committed, they're committed, right? Just time to Valk, right?
Heroes never die.
All right, you look very lost. Just pick something to do and do it, right? So, so here, like, you keep trying to like heal your Zen, but you never actually like get low enough to like you never actually like press like crouch and like get low enough to actually heal him before you do anything else. So then you just keep trying to like look at him and try to heal him, but you never actually like commit to it. And as a result, like, you never actually heal him.
You should be at peak
Until now,
performance.
yeah. This is the first time you do it, but like, just remember, you can go down as well as up as in Valk. So you just get low, right? You don't have to go in the hut, right? You can just get low, like with the wall as your cover, right? Heal your Zen, right? And then from there, go vertical again, do whatever you want, right?
Changing position.
Yeah, you're also not really abusing GA very much, right? Like, so if you look, you didn't use GA once your entire Valkyrie, I'm pretty sure. Maybe once. Let's see, just to make sure.
Where does it hurt? Heroes never die.
No GA, no GA. I'm pretty sure you don't use it once.
You should be at peak performance level.
Yeah, you don't use it once. So like you spent your entire fight just like hovering right here essentially, and you yeah like that's okay because like you're faster with more free flight, right? You have longer range beam, so it's not terrible, but like you can really abuse GA to like explore more movement possibilities, right? So like for example, if your Zen's like walking over here and you want to heal your ball, right? You just back up a bit, you slingshot through him because you go super fast with Valk, right? And then you pick up your ball, right? Or conversely, like if you want to help this fight, right, you just swing over here, right, and that'll get you LOS of your ball as well, right? And there's a lot of ways to do it, but you're just like not using G at all, and you're like you're just kind of playing as if you're normal Mercy, but you're Valk, right? You're super fast, especially with GA, and like you're almost unpunishable because again, like if you GA towards someone who's fighting, you don't care because you're Valk Mercy, unless you get grabbed, like nothing's gonna pin you down during a Valk, just by flying too close to a teammate, right? So. It's okay to get to teammates when you're valking. Like you can slingshot past, you can pull the pistol and go to kill this guy instead. There's a lot of stuff you can do here, but you just kind of like stayed in this like box, right? Gotta go outside that, right? Like this whole time you're just like looking for people to LOS. When like as soon as you grab anyone, you can slingshot past them, and as long as you can see them, you'll probably get beam range. And if like the beam range doesn't work, right? You're too far, right? Say like you end up slingshotting over here for some reason, and like your ball is still over here, right? There's someone else you can slingshot off of, presumably in this area, that you can also just get over here and grab your ball anyways, right? There's a lot of ways you can do it.
We still need you moving up. Right beside you. Stop.
Flight routine activated.
Damn it.
Duplicating wrecking ball.
Side note, blue beaming your ball is pretty good, or not your ball, your echo is pretty good. But just keep in mind their comp. They're running Tracer, Sombra, and ball, right? So they have 3 divers, not the traditional 2 for this kind of matchup, right? So they're not running like a poke hero. So if they're gonna run this, they're really, really aggressive, right? And the Sombra is always going to set up on your Zen. So to some regard, you shouldn't actually be pocketing your echo as hard as you are, probably. I know normally you're supposed to pocket, but like this is probably not one of the situations where you're supposed to pocket a lot. Also, if you are going to pocket, you want to pocket in somewhere where you're in LOS of your Zen, right? So if your Zen's like hanging out over here, you probably just want to like pocket like as far as this, right? And then if you ever need to fly to your echo, you fly a bit and you try to drift around this corner so that you're always like in relatively close proximity to your Zen, right? You don't really want to spend a lot of time like for over here, for example, where like it's very hard to get to your Zen, right? You want to chill like over here, right? Because this is the close corner, right, for your Zen. That's sort of how you need to think, because you always need to be ready to peel for your Zen against this comp, because they're going to bring pressure, and they have like a guaranteed setup with the Sombra. Yeah, so like if anything, you guys can just play together. Don't stack with your Zen, obviously, because like as Mercy, you don't want to stack on top of teammates, especially if you expect them to be gone on. But you do want to like just it's okay to just like stay with your Zen and do nothing else. Although our play was to be aggressive, so like I mean, I get why you're with Brian, but Brian should be like up here by now. But like that's the idea, right?
The battle continues.
Did I leave my shield up the entire time? No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry.
Quite the boost.
Nope, found the ball.
I'm here.
Yeah, so careful with this right here. So this is fine if you're trying to support Dan, right? But just keep in mind, like, your Zen was back here, right? And maybe he gets left behind LOS wise, and then he gets gone on, and you have a card between you and him, right? This is okay, right? Because like, presumably the fight's not about to happen yet. We're still poking at the off angles. You can do whatever you want in that regard, right? But just keep in mind, like, know where your Zen is, right? That's the most important thing. This is okay, right? Maintaining your spacing is fine, but know where your Zen is. Know he's over here, because I would think he might be over here or something, right? So just like try and figure out where he is. Now you know where he is. That's good. All right. So as soon as that ball's dealt with, like stop walking forward, walk back a step, and check to make sure your Zen's okay, right? Because again, they're going to bring pressure on your Zen. The ball's dead, but they still have a Sombra, right? And you don't need to walk forward because walking forward actually exposes you to this, right? You might get right-clicked by the Zen or something.
Going free. I need a health restore.
You needed a doctor?
Yeah, so careful with this, right? Because this is okay, right? But like, you're kind of far from your Zen, and there's like kind of awkward LOS, right?
Lifting off.
a lot of this doesn't apply if they're running like a poke hero, right? If they're running their own echo, right? You kind of have to do this more. But in a situation where they're running like this really all-in, like aggressive version with no poke, right? Then you know that like protecting your Zen is the priority, not like damage boosting your echo. In an ideal world, you can protect your Zen by damage boosting the echo, right? Like you damage boost your echo, so your echo can like shut down like angles and like make it really hard for them to like push in, right? But against this comp, right? Like the Sombra, like she is weak in poke situations because she gets poked out, she's out of the fight for several seconds, unlike a Tracer who can just like keep fighting, right? With recall, with blinks, etc., 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 right? But because they have a Sombra who can't be shut out, right? You physically just can't like stop her from walking in. You need to protect your Zen a little bit more, mindset wise.
Your support has arrived. Maintaining connection.
Yeah, so that's good, right? You knew where your Zen was. As soon as the Sombra showed up, you found your Zen, right? That was really good. Yeah, you had a slingshot. I think from a staying alive standpoint, those were your mines, or your ball's mines. So when this is going on, right? You wanna create. You either need to like fly over here and commit to helping your echo, right? Or you need to like fly over here and commit to helping your ball and like playing the other side of the point, right? But you can't just cut. You can't like do it halfway, right? Because we're down a lot, like a lot. So unless like our team immediately kills a lot of people here, right? Your goal is only to survive for as long as you can, because like you can't need it. Like the goal isn't helping as many teammates as you can. The goal is just staying alive so you can help teammates, right? So right here, if you want to help the ball, you can, right? But you need to like slingshot, fly past him, right, for safety, right? Either or, right, like back up, create separation with you in the echo, right, and then fly and create more separation, right, to be safe, right? But if you're gonna half fly and then cancel it right next to the brig, like in your minefield, right? I don't know if you thought this was their minefield, but like you didn't even use your own minefield to keep you safe, right? Like this minefield here, you could have like slingshot past, right? Played their side, right? And they can't even get to you because there's a minefield in the way, right? I imagine that you thought this was their minefield, but like this is like no bueno, right? Just cutting your fly halfway, just sitting right next to the brig, rough all around. Yeah, and just get clubbed.
Valkyrie online.
Objective lost.
Super jump.
Stop the payload.
I like this activity with your camera where you're making sure to check flanks, right? You hear Tracer underneath and you're just looking for it, especially since your Zen is busy aiming, right? Always really good to see from main support.
Damage increase.
Oh, thanks for the follow. Glad to see you're here.
You needed a doctor. Damage was engaged.
Stones increase.
Fights in.
This is good. Just make sure you know where your Zen is, right?
What is that melody?
So the way you keep yourself safe here, generally, is so when you start getting shot, right? Don't jump. Just make sure you get off the platform as fast as you can, so you create LOS while maintaining the beam, right? So I know your setting is Guardian Angel prefers beam target on because I saw it happen, that's a setting I personally really like because it lets you do stuff like this. So it can mess you up sometimes, but like in this case, right, you have the beam connected to your Zen, you're healing him because he's on the high ground, right? So now you can just hard drop, right? Hard LOS what he's doing, right? You don't need to see anything, right? And then you can like fly back up to help him if like before the beam disconnects, if he's not dropping, right? If he does drop, right, you're in prime position to like keep moving, right, and find someone else to like fly to, and then you turn around, reconnect the beam, etc., right? But in the case that he doesn't drop and he wants to fight it out, which he can, right? You can maintain the pocket, right? You can like drop, start regaining your health, right, and then fly back up, regain the LOS, and then drop back down again, right? Or fly really far up and just like watch them over here or something where they can't hit you. Like there's a lot of ways to do this, but just you want to get like create a hard like edge on the LOS, so that way they can't shoot you, right? In order to get to shoot you, they'd have to like come to the edge and look all the way down and basically stand still, and then your Zen kills them, right? So it's very impractical for them to do that. But here, like, you're just abandoning your Zen essentially, right? Like you disconnect to the beam, you went to find someone else to fly to, right? And like, you'd much rather just like, do that when like you're actively under pressure, but you've already dodged the pressure by dropping, right? So if you're going to do that, just try and maintain the beam coverage, right? And then you could like, if especially you drop on this side away from the door, right? You can very easily like slingshot past your Zen using like the wall bounce, get up here, right? And then from here, right, you're still safe, right? And then like, it's in order to chase you, the Zen tracer will come back over here, right? And then you can drop again, right? And then fly to somebody else, right? And in the meantime, you've never abandoned your Zen this whole time, right? That was kind of long-winded, but the point is like your Zen, I mean, it looks like it'll be fine, but protecting the Zen is primarily your responsibility, right? So, those are scrim numbers. So I don't know what all of them mean anymore. It used to be the first two numbers were damage done and damage taken. I think they're different now. I'm not really sure what they are. It looks like okay, so the last number for healers is definitely healing done. I'm pretty sure. So I guess the last number is like role specific. So like the DPS characters have percents to indicate like weapon accuracy. The healers have healing done. Ball looks like also has accuracy, and then Sigma I assume has shielding. The fourth number is I think ults. It might also be deaths. Probably deaths. I don't think the Zen has 5 transits. So I think that's deaths. And then the third number, I don't know what the rest of them are. The first number is definitely damage done. The second number, maybe healing received. And then the third number is damage taken, probably. Something like that. Sorry, I don't actually know. This is a new version of the scrim code, so. Yeah, know where your Zen is. Spam for the summer, that's fine. Remember Mercy's a character like Ball, or Torb. You could reload with the other thing out, so you never really have to reload it as Mercy, unless like you're really committed to fighting. But like, you can just swap to your staff. You don't have to worry about reloading your pistol, and you just go back to healing. I like this. Oh, saw the ball. That needs to be called. Oh, also saw the tracer. Yeah, and so like this is what I mean, where you allow yourself to get separated from your Zen. So in order to heal your Zen, you have to like walk around a corner to heal him, right? And so like just emphasize like when you get here, right, just hold this verticality for as long as you can, right? You're up here, just hold spacebar, and that way you can see everything, right? You probably could have res there. You have a tendency to like to hold off on res for too long, I think. Like you want to make sure you don't die during the res, which is like good. But there are certain reses that like you need to take even if they're risky. And also like if you ask for confirmation that you can res, sometimes it's like that actually prevents you from getting a res, right? So it's better sometimes to be like just call for the like if you know that people have the resources, like if you need a shield for res, just like call for the shield, right? Especially if you know, like you should be able to know whether or not your Sigma has shield, right? So just like ask for shield to res, right? And then you res, right? And just go for it and assume you'll get it. But like don't keep the agency and the decision in your hands, right? Don't just ask other people, right? Just see for yourself whether or not you can, right? And then go for it or don't go for it. But if you go for it and you die, then you'll know you were wrong, right? Or you didn't get resources in time, or you didn't communicate well enough, right? There's a lot of reasons why it can go wrong. But like if you don't try to figure it out for yourself, right, it'll be difficult to like actually know or learn, right? So like that res was like, I know you wanted to heal me because I was missing some health, but like I'm not gonna die there, right? We already won the high ground, so. Oh, that's where everyone goes in and dies. That was good, by the way. Like, you turned around, you found your escape plan, and even if you didn't use it immediately, right, you turned back to go what you're doing, and then, like, when you needed it, you took your escape plan. That was really good. That was so dumb. Oh my god. This hack was so stupid. I just, like, let it happen. Like, watch this. I'm like, oh my god, a Sombra. Let me... Wait. Oh. I've hacked. Yeah. You kind of made that messy yourself. Um, one of the weird things of Valk is when you pop Valk, it disconnects your beam, right? I'm sure you realize that now, but if you already got the beam on, like, disconnecting, reconnecting the beam does cost you a little bit of healing. Plus, it introduces the possibility of, like, error, where, like, you heal someone else by accident, right? So, like, yes, you technically heal a little bit more when you're Valking, like 5 healing per second more. But there are certain cases when you want to wait until after he's confirmed not going to die before you Valk. For that kind of reason, right? And this is one of those cases where, like, you kind of screwed yourself up by Valking, because, like, you end up attaching the beam to someone else, and you weren't able to heal him through it, right? So that forces your res. Res is still fine, but you'd rather not have to res, obviously. Make sure you watch your Zen. Like, you know that like your Zen and Sig are fighting on high ground, right? It's right here. Like, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine, right? You hold the pistol, but you know that there's fighting happening on your right now, right? And then you're focusing on the ground instead of, like, looking. Just, like, look, make sure that we're fine. If you see that we're both fine, we're high health or something, right? Then go back to whatever you're doing. But just make sure you look. Good escape. Yep. It's fun. Okay. Alright, so now they have an Echo, right? So it's better to damage boost your Echo more now, and you try again. You still the same principles of staying in LOS of your Zen, right? Whenever possible. I mean, that should be something your Echo should be trying to do anyways, but something you need to, like, keep in mind. And then, like, just be mindful of his positioning so you can help him, right? Yeah. So the most important thing is knowing where the trace from the ball is. I know you want to, like, look at your Echo, right? But as soon as you start the fly, like, try and spend some time, like, trying to figure out where Echo and ball are, or not Echo, Zen and Tracer and ball are. And when if you know where Tracer and ball are, then you know how much you need to peel for your Zen, right? If you don't know where they are, and you don't know, like, and no one on your team knows where they are, right? Then, like, pay special attention to your Zen because they're going to come for him, right? If you do know where the Tracer and the ball are, and you know they're committed, right? You come over here, you see that ball, right? Like, there's immediately less worry about your Zen, right? You just need to worry about potentially Tracer going in for the one shot, right? And if you hear Tracer shots on this side, then you know that's not happening, right? But information is power. So you got to know. And so you see the ball, right? Excellent. Yeah. So now we know where Tracer is. She just used recall. You know where your Zen is as well. He's on the right side. That's awkward. Yeah. Again, like, if you're gonna you're gonna commit to helping your Echo, right? And not, like, play an LOS of your Zen, right? Fully commit to it. Fly all the way out here, and just give up on helping the rest of your team. You're full Echo pocket at that point, right? And that's fine, right? That's okay. Obviously, I'd prefer if you played somewhere where you can help your Zen. But, like, there are times when, like, the Echo can really use the pocket and just go ham, right? So that's totally fine as well. But if you're not, right, then you want to just, like, make sure that, like, you fully commit to getting back to the rest of your team and you leave the Echo, right? You can't play a halfway point when your Echo goes really aggressive, right? So your Echo, like, goes in deep over here around the corner, right? And you have to make a decision, right? Am I going to, like keep drifting this way to support my Echo, or do I drift this way and support my team, right? And you got to pick one. You can't do both, right? They're too far away. And this is the moment. This is kind of the, like, earlier when this actually the same point, right? On defense, when you couldn't decide what to do, where to go, right? And you just sat here and didn't heal anyone. You were just trying to reconnect the beam on the Zen for like 3 minutes. Okay, that's a massive exaggeration. For about like 10 seconds, you, like, just kept trying to reconnect a beam that never even connected in the first place, and you just never decided what to do, right? So this is the same situation, right? This guy's way off to the side. This is the core of your team, right? You got to pick one. You can't do both, right? So you pick one, fly to it, and, like, commit to it. And whichever one you say, like you call that, right? So if you're gonna fly to your Echo, right, say like I'm with you, Gabe, right? And if you're gonna fly back, you should be like you should tell Gabe I'm not with you, right? And don't try to get back to him, right? It's not like you're in a rush to like help him, right? It's like the priority is like you made a decision at that point, and both are completely valid, right? You just gotta pick one, right? But you end up in the middle, right? And now we got the brig on you again. It's just the exact same situation.
Let me get you patched up.
Oh my god, how'd you live? That tracer's so bad.
Damage increase.
Yeah. So again, like you're not like is your Echo dead? Echo. Oh, your Echo died. Yeah. So because you didn't support your Echo, right? Your Echo died, and because you didn't support your Zen died, right? And you lived out of all of that, but now you're in a situation where your Zen where you just like you don't know what to do, right? Because like your two standard pockets are gone, right? And that's because you didn't pick one to work with, right? If you can get this res, that'd be really good, right? Oh wait, you already res. I'm stupid.
We make a great
Like again, if you want to get LOS on this guy, right? Just Guardian Angel past the Echo, right? And reconnect the beam, right? I think you're just really afraid to use Guardian Angel to like gain LOS for some reason. Like sometimes it's better to wait for people to come to you, but in this case, right? Like not only does like this take you to high ground, which is great, right? But it also like gets you better LOS of everybody, right? So.
Let me get you patched up.
Adjusting network. Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Finishing them off. Going free.
I've got you.
This is fine.
What is that melody?
You saw where your Echo was, or not your Echo, your Zen.
Systems on.
You come to your Zen before he gets in before he becomes in trouble. That's really good. You should probably just stay with him. Just stay up here, right, and start backing up this direction, and see if you can maintain LOS to your Echo. And as soon as you realize your Echo is above, you can fly above to your Echo, right, and then that way you can look down on your Zen, and tell him how bad and like help him out when he's in trouble, right. And just know what's going on, right? You'd be able to see this ball coming in on him, right? And you could redirect the Echo's attention to him, maybe, and tell one of your Zen in advance, right? But like, you just end up underneath for some reason. And again, when you fly up, remember to look down, right? So you see what's happening underneath you. That's the point of that's the biggest advantage of the verticality, right? Is you see what's happening underneath you.
Lock on my target.
Don't stop now.
Ooh. Oh, don't fly that way. Okay, you should like turn to your help, right? You know where Zen was, right? Like if you get that eat that right click, like drift, like hide behind this wall, and immediately turn to your right and see if you can find your Zen, right?
Your support has arrived.
Enemy target located.
You should be at peak.
All right, this will be the last fight, I think. Oh, okay. I thought no one was on cart.
I'm with you. Heroes never die.
Alright, that's a pretty good time to Valk, because you were on the ground and your Echo ulted, right? So you don't have an easy way to get verticality, right? So using Valk to get verticality, right, to get a better vision of the battlefield is like a pretty good solution to that. What a signal! All right, what a. The Echo literally just kept shooting the the grass. Interesting.
Let's get you back out there.
All right, so I'm gonna end it here. I think the majority of your problems, I think, are related to just like maintaining LOS of the two important people, right? Your Echo and your Zen. If they split up too hard for you to support both, right? You've got to pick one. You can't try to do both because you can only be in one place at a time as Mercy. You don't have ranged healing, right? Throwing yourself around is not a ranged healing solution. So you got to pick one and work with it, right? And then just be aware of the other person's location at all times. So that way you can like potentially work your way back to them, right? Also, just use your GA to gain LOS more, right? So like, if if you want to get vertical, right, the point of going vertical is that like you can see more, you can do more, right? And a lot of the times like you just don't use GA very much except to fly towards people you want to heal, right? But GA can do a lot more than that. It can like it lets you fly to someone, right? So that you can heal someone over there, right? Like it lets you do stuff like that where if you fly up, you can heal someone over there, right? There's a lot of potential situations like that. So getting more comfortable doing that I think will matter a lot. Your Valk usage was okay. You held onto it a little too long, just generally. Like as soon as the fight's committed, it's probably fine. Or as soon as you eat like any kind of pressure, like say like the fight's committed, and then you like the tracer dumps a clip into you, and you're worried about dying, you just Valk and just like GA zoom off into the distance, and then like turn around and then fly back, right? And that's a pretty valid strat. Yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. And if you get to this part of the video, DM me what, or if you're still watching, DM me what 5 plus 13 equals.